Hello, and welcome to this We Did It Health event. At We Did It Health, we're working to create a healthy, happy, vegan, and plant based world. We're doing this through building community and offering resources such as today's discussion and workout to help you create relationships where you will plant seeds of hopeful curiosity in others when they ask about a vegan or plant based lifestyle. So be sure to subscribe. And we also invite you to join our Facebook community so that you can connect with others and find support and encouragement with like-minded members. My name is Mariquita Solis, and I'm very excited to welcome Wellness Trailblazer and my good friend Angela Fischetti to today's program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Mariquita. I'm very, very honored.
Thank you. I've been excited about this. I mean, we've gotten together many times now, so on different platforms. But here we are. We did it at Health, and our mission is really to show people how they can thrive at all ages. And so you're perfect for this, and we're glad to have you. And please, whoever's watching, let us know where you're joining us from. If you have any questions, then ask us your questions, your comments, because we're here to support you in getting healthy and strong bones. So, Angela, let me just ask you this. How long have you been working out?
I was trying to figure that out the other day, and there used to be like these, I don't know, they called it a spa, but it was not a spa. And it was all about women getting together and working out. And I was in my late teens when I started that. When I was younger, because I was in theater, I gravitated toward like ballet lessons and tap dancing lessons. But when I was a kid, I rough and tumbled in the dirt with my 5-year-old older brother and his friends, and I played tackle football, and I played baseball and softball. I was rotten at basketball, believe it or not. I played wiffle ball, tetherball, handball. I just was out there and was always I always gravitated toward movement. And even like during my acting days, those were the days of Jane Fonda. And this was in the 80s, and I was traveling the country in a van with other actors. We were performing Shakespearean plays, and I traveled with Jane Fonda's cassette tape and my little cassette recorder, and I was in the hotel room working out, and that's, so it's over. It's got to be 45. It might even be like 47 years at this point. Now, did I miss some years in between? Yes. And they actually did not serve me. Okay. Because especially if you've had some issues with eating problems, disordered eating, just eating the standard American Italian diet. And if you've had any of those issues, if you clean up your diet and lifestyle, but then later in life, lose it again, that's not good. And oftentimes it will lead to different pathologies. And for me, I had a slew of them, but the one that I'm here to really present about today was when I got diagnosed at 60 with osteoporosis. And not only osteoporosis, he said to me, "You have the osteoporosis of a 90-year-old," and he wrote it in red, Mariquita, on my chart. He wrote it in red. I was like, "Well, okay," but you see, the great thing is it made an impact. Right now, prior to that, I turned vegetarian in '87. After it was 86 or 87. I think it was 87 because I think that's when his book was published, John Robbins' Diet for New America. And then I went vegetarian, and 3 years later, about 1991, I want to say, that I went vegan. But it was not a linear path for me. Sometimes as much as 2 5-year segments, I was a raw vegan. 100% raw vegan. But with me, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, and maybe you can as well, is that if I got presented with some type of challenge in life, mostly an emotional challenge, okay, then that's when I would slip back to cheese, being the Italian American that I am, cheese. And it's like the ultimate pleasure trap food. And so it was never a linear path, but it has been a journey since 87 with vegetarianism. With exercise, it's been on the map. I was taking tap dancing lessons and stuff at 15, 16. And I'm 65. So, I'm working on the movement stuff for well over 50 years. And if if you take into consideration the fact that I was called a tomboy as a little girl, which I recommend every little girl becoming, because man, you figure out later in life how vigorous exercise really serves you. And it really does. So, what we're doing here this evening is basically presenting to you just an example of the type of workouts that I do and did. And it was a 3-year process from 60 to 63 to downgrade to what I call age appropriate osteopenia, because there's a vast difference between osteoporosis, which in the literature is spelled with uppercase O, and osteopenia in the literature is spelled with lowercase o. And there's a reason. One is a pathology, one is not. However, I do not get cocky or smug just because I was able to downgrade. This was hard work. This is not, there's one thing to be said for people who are challenged with movement. That's a whole nother issue. Maybe people in a wheelchair, all kinds of different issues. That is another issue, okay? But people who are not, and they think that walking the dog is going to affect, hear me out on this, is going to affect pathology, they are mistaken. It will not. Especially if it's a pathology that has to do with bone health, bone strength, muscle health, muscle strength. You have to effort. So what I tell people to do is to work at an acceptable level of muscular discomfort for you. Whatever that is, I can't figure that out for you. But it needs to be effort, because if I'm sauntering along and it's a nice, lovely stroll, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But if you come to me and say, I have these issues, that stroll is not going to affect that. And the change of diet, you got to change the diet. Let me tell you, as soon as your body perceives your movement as effort, you're on the path. There's no judgment. You're on the path. You get to discern, though, what that is. I can't figure that out for others. I just know whistling, singing while I'm working out, it needs to be an effort. I need to feel it. However, pain and muscular discomfort are two separate issues. Pain is inflammation. Muscular discomfort is not. So, that's what I wanted to mention about that. And so should I go into a bit about what I wanted to talk to you about today with osteoporosis?
Sure, go ahead. And let me just say hello to Cambria. Thank you for joining JJ. She's lifting watermelons. I know, and I lifted a watermelon too today. And and then Cambria's riding her bike. And let's see, we've got someone else here, Facebook user, whoever that is. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, all right, let's go on into it.
Angela? Thank you. So, I talked to you a little bit about what this is all about, the anecdotal approach. Now, the type of exercises we're going to be using this evening are mostly, I'm going to teach you folks 10 exercises. So 7 out of the 10 are compound movements. This is by design. Okay, this is absolutely by design. So what is a compound movement? It means that you're utilizing multiple joints and multiple large muscles. And that's the key. multiple large muscles. I chose 3 isolated movements, and I'll explain why as well when we're doing them. Now, all of the movements reflect activities of daily living. I will point this out to you as we're doing the work, how this reflects on something that we actually do in real life. And that includes lifting watermelons, by the way. Well, lifting watermelons is no joke. You ever go to Trader Joe's and they're down on the floor like in a bin, but like you gotta, like, your feet are up in the air and you gotta grab them out of there? That requires a lot of effort, but that's good for you. So anyhow, the information that I'm presenting to you this evening, I'm not someone who does a PowerPoint. I am someone who either gets up and does to show you, or comes from a very authentic place in my heart as to where I culled my information, how it affected me. And I have to tell you, during my process, that Dr. Michael Clapper's video from 2015 called Healthy Bones, Preventing and Reversing Osteoporosis was an enormous help to me. Enormous. And I want to really emphasize for everybody to watch this video. Now, I do also want to tell you that the current existing video that you see on YouTube of this particular presentation is really inferior from a technical perspective. Dr. Clapper, I'm going to pitch this for him. He sells this on his website, like a digital, I don't know, like $15 or something. It is so worth the investment, folks. If you have osteoporosis or you're concerned about your bone health and your bone strength, please get a hold of this video. It's outstanding. So I'm going to quote him a little bit here this evening. So according to Dr. Clapper, the bones are living dynamic structures. They renew themselves with cells that break down old bone and lay down new bone. Now, osteoclasts, and I'm going to emphasize the part of that for a reason, osteoclasts break down old bone. So how I remember this is by thinking osteoclasts kill old bone. He gives the example of banging into something. He says to heal a microfracture quickly, osteoclasts dissolve old fractured bone. Osteoblasts enter to lay down new bone, which is considered bone reshaping, which technically is called bone remodeling. So think about this. Osteoblasts build new bone. All right. I think, it helps me at least think of it that way. He asks a great question. He says, what makes osteoblasts create new bone? He says the most important factor to what wakes up our osteoblasts is when our bones are being used against gravity. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here today, Mariquita. He also says that without consistent weight-bearing exercise, osteoclasts continue to dissolve old bone faster than osteoblasts lay down new bone. It's a little scary, right? So he says when bone substance disappears, it is now called osteoporosis, which you all know means porous bone. He says osteoporosis is primarily disuse atrophy of bones, not calcium deficiency, made worse by lifestyle and diet practices. He says and his imagery here is pretty cool. He says, if you don't use your muscles, they atrophy, turn into guacamole. He says, if you don't use your bones, they atrophy, turn into styrofoam and crumble. Really kind of graphic there, right? He also says, use it or lose it. So do I. And but basically, that's what we're here for now this evening, to make sure this doesn't happen. And Mariquita, I need to put out an appeal to younger women in particular, but men, don't think you can't get osteoporosis because you're on the rise for it, okay? So, but to younger women, don't wait until the diagnosis hits. I'm telling you, it's hard. It's hard to gain it back. It's super hard. And it makes me a stronger person, and it's my life's path, so to speak, my fate, what have you. But I'm telling you, you don't have to wait in order to do something to prevent this from happening. And the other thing too is I'm not against people taking medication, but what I do want to challenge is the pop a pill mentality. I can pop my pill, I no longer have hypertension. Huh? Huh? Because if you don't take the pill and you still have it, huh? So I'm just concerned about folks who just pop the pill and that's it. I don't want to think about it. It doesn't work that way. And in fact, you will help your medication by doing, by efforting. So I'm going to get off my soapbox about that right now, but I have to make my appeal because I see it happening with younger women who don't want to exercise and they're just waiting until later. So we got to figure out a way to help them out too. So anyhow, so that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you about the topic of osteoporosis. And what I'm going to do now, Mariquita, is I know you're going to change the camera for me. I'm going to change the camera as well. I just have to adjust it, and I have to adjust the position of my microphone. And then let's get the party started.
All right, let's go. Here we go.
Gotta have fun. All right, I think we got it. Thank you all for joining me this evening. This one is from my beautiful, beautiful vegan and whole food plant-based certified ambassadors, certified through We Did It Health. And I'm so honored to be a part of the team. And you all are so generous with your time and your efforts. And so I just want to thank you all. So this is my give back to all of you. So here we are. What I call this workout is strength training and osteoporosis my way, because that's what it is. It's my anecdotal approach. Now, I have presented this several times. However, each time I presented, folks, it's just a little tweaked differently as far as the exercises that I choose. Maybe one exercise is different, whatever. And the point is because I didn't do one workout for 3 years that affected my my outcome. So the point is that I varied it up. All right, I did a lot of different stuff with the strength training, but I am presenting to you what I think. If you're dealing with this issue, first of all, I'm going to get into the medical disclaimers in a moment. I'm going to hold that for a second. But this is just to be able to show you a workout that's safe and effective and is part of what I've done and continue to do to downgrade from osteoporosis to osteopenia. So here we go. The accessories we're using today: sticky yoga mat. I'm using a workout bench. Now, do you need to use a bench? No. But for the exercise on the back, you can come down to the floor. If getting up and down off the floor is an issue, then do it on your bed. Though not my preferred surface, hey, if you tell me I'm not going to do the exercise, then use the bed. All right. Also, the weights I'm using today is a variety of weights, and they go from 8 to 25 pounds. I'll also be using a fit ball, which is kind of this squeegee, non-burstable ball. I think it's also called a Pilates ball. So you can use that, provided that they're about 9 inches. I'm also using a balance pad, but I'm actually using it for my knee because I'm going to demonstrate a couple of exercises down on my knee, but not when it comes time to use the weights, just so you know that. Then also I'm using, which is really pretty cool, a wedge. So with a wedge, I'm going to have my toes up on this end and my heels up on this end, okay? So what I'm doing is coming into plantar flexion, pointing the foot down. However, if you don't have wedges, I'm going to show you a way that you can use your dumbbells to hack the whole thing, all right? It may not be 100, I know that it's not 100% plantar flexion, but it's a way to get you to use the weights. Let me just pull this out so I don't pull it down. Okay, so you see the orange. The orange are it's called the collar of the weight. I'm going to put it down on the floor, right up against each other. Now, I'm going to approach it from the front. I'm going to bring them back a little further because I want you to see the toes. So when we go to do a particular exercise, that exercise is called an elevated heel fit ball squat. You can do it like this. So I'm going to put my heels up on the handle, the bar of the weight, not the balls of the feet and not the toes. And then you can execute that exercise from here. We're not doing it yet. I just wanted you to see what you can do as an alternative to the wedges. Also, for those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension and have vertigo or GERD, you might want to have a little hand towel like this, folded up, put it under your head when you're on your back. I don't want you folks getting a rush of blood to your head. And what else? Yes, today I decided, I've been doing this lately, it's kind of fun. I decided to level up one of my exercises today here with you on the show, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm doing that through wrist weights, and I just added 1 pound to each of the wrist weights to be able to level up a little bit. And folks, that makes a big difference. Let me check all of my, yep, I covered them all. So we have all the accessories for you. We already talked about compound and isolation movements. We're doing 7 compound movements, 3 isolation. And so now let's discuss medical disclaimers. So the fit ball, the yoga mat, and I have a feeling even possibly the balance pad, they are all made with, typically, all made with latex. So those of you with latex allergies, you want to look for non-latex or latex-free. Moving into more medical disclaimers. So if you have any of the following issues, I invite you to preview the video first before participating. Folks, when you have chronic issues, we are excellent at knowing how to say the word no. We're excellent at it. And so we should be. However, look, to me, it becomes like we get like this. Tunnel vision. That's it. No, no, no. Because of fear, and I understand that. So now, tonight, I invite you to widen that perspective to include what you can do. Because I'm telling you, the way that I'm going to present this work to you, there will be at least 1 exercise you can take home with you. And if you use that attitude when you're looking at other exercise videos, I promise you, you will be able to create your own personalized exercise protocol. So here we go with all the issues that I'm going to mention. So if you've ever been diagnosed with any back spine issue in your life, particularly a forward flexion of the spine, bending down to pick up something, you may have been told, don't do that. This is typically associated with issues regarding osteoporosis, even postural deviations like hyperkyphosis, right, which is often associated with osteoporosis, but not exclusively, folks. If you're medicated or not for hypertension, if you have vertigo, GERD, rotator cuff muscle issues, which are deep to the shoulders, pinched nerve at the neck, if you've ever had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or a stroke, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, golfer's elbow, which is medial epicondylitis, tennis elbow, which is lateral epicondylitis, and knee issues. Now, for knee issues, it's pretty easy, folks, because what you can do is just not go as deep. Let's say a squat, but I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to bring my back to the wall. So this is for back spine issues and knee issues at any time. I'm going to sit with my back to the wall. Now, how low I go is determined by how my knees feel. So you can stay up higher if you want. Back spine, particularly with that hyperkyphosis, you're going to be here with your head. I need a pillow behind you so you can push your head back into the pillow. Okay, so that's an alternative for you folks with the squat work, just in case. However, by previewing the video and you're still unsure, then I want you to feel free to invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to help you make an informed decision. I want to give you gentle reminders to please feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to, but don't quit. So if you're resting, don't just say, okay, that's it, that's enough. Maybe you have one more repetition in you, folks, and that repetition could put you over the top to help you get stronger. So just that little bit extra does help. To please stay hydrated. We are dealing with a massive heat index all over the place. So folks, stay hydrated. I don't know from flavored waters, coffees, teas. I don't know from any of that. I just know about water, work, and an acceptable level of muscular discomfort for you, whatever that might be. Now, how we're going to handle today is we're going to be doing sets. A set is a group of repetitions, 8 to 15 repetitions. Now, for those of you with the different conditions that I mentioned, and you know, there are many other conditions as well, right? So with different conditions, and those of you who are brand new to strength training, and those of you brand new to exercise at all right? What we're going to do is demonstrate every single one of the 10 exercises without any additional weight. I might tie in the wedges, I might tie in the fit ball, but I'm not going to be picking up the dumbbells nor putting on the wrist weight. Not yet. So that's going to be our warm-up. By the way, for 55 years and above, 55 years and above, it is recommended you warm up for 10 minutes prior to the workout. And then how we're going to follow this up is we're going to redo every exercise 2 times. So it's going to be 2 sets of 8 to 15 repetitions. We're going to work this as a superset. That means alternating 2 different exercises back to back. And I think that's it. I got it all taken care of. Let's do the work. First exercise is called a sumo squat, and we're going to be doing this with a lat pull down, short for latissimus dorsi muscle, those swimmer's muscle. Sumo squat, well, before I show you the sumo squat, I think I better show you the basic squat so you know how to execute it, and then we can go into the sumo. So first off, we're going to stand in an athletic ready stance. So my knees are hips width apart. So I'm going to place my hands to the inside of my high pelvic bone. That's the iliac crest. I point the hands straight down, not in, not like this. And I'm lining up my ankles to the knees, to the inside of the pelvic bone for hips width apart. Now I'm going to turn in this direction. You can still see the white of my sneaker, which is what I want. And so here you go. Knee issues, back spine issues. We got to watch that forward flexion of a squat. You might want to use the wall. I'm going to lift the toes inside the shoes, just the toes. I'm going to bring the arms out in front. Now I'm going to sit back into a chair. On the inhale, exhale, I drive up, and I'm giving a squeeze to the gluteal with a slight posterior pelvic tilt. It's a pelvic tuck. Inhale, I sit back, exhale up. Now, what if you have a little bit of restriction? Well, as long as I sit back and soften the knees and give that contraction here through the glutes and the quadriceps, the thighs, that's a squat. So now I'm going to bring myself into a sumo squat, which is like those wrestlers, right? Feet wide apart, toes same line as each other, toes lifted. What I want you to do with your arms is shoulder abduction, ABD, shoulder adduction, ADD. Go away from the midline, go toward the midline. Remember this exercise, hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. Remember this exercise, rotator cuff and pinch nerve, because later we're going to redo this for you, okay? So here we go. I'm going to sit back into the chair with the toes lifted. Inhale, exhale, up, pelvic tuck, squeeze. Inhale, exhale up. Now notice the arms are not coming all the way in alongside me, because if I have rotator cuff and I do this, I just brought in the supraspinatus of the rotator cuff. We don't want that. That one oftentimes gets injured. So by keeping the arms 10 to 15 degrees away from the torso and hips, we're now in deltoid muscle, shoulder muscles. So sitting back, the knees are tracking over the second to third toe. I'm going to turn a little bit this way. Actually, I'm going to turn this way for you so you can see what's going on posteriorly. That posterior pelvic tilt. Couple more repetitions. One more. Exhale on the way up. That's where the effort is. The next one I said was the lat pull down. I'm going to pull out my balance pad for my knee and turn it this way. I want you to see that the back toes are tucked under, right? Now, lat pull down is going to look like this. Arms up. I pull. So I'm imagining I'm pulling something super heavy toward me. Now, I do want to caution those of you with TIA or stroke, don't lift your head up to the ceiling. Keep your head neutral. Keep the head neutral. The rest of us, we can look up. And folks, just because I mention all those issues, it doesn't mean doing the exercise is going to bring on those issues, right? We just have to have caution and be smart how to proceed with those issues. Don't let them stop us. There's ways of working around them. We're going to do a couple more exercises. My scapulae are moving, shoulder blades. Keep going. We want that strong back so we can pull heavy stuff, so we can push heavy stuff, lift, bend down, pick up something. One more. Exhale, pull. Hands on the thigh to stand. Let me move this to the side. The next round will be pairing an elevated heel, fit ball squat. That's where those dumbbells come into play for you. And also an incline chest press. However, I'm not going to be using the bench yet, all right? But I am going to bring in my wedges and the ball, just not my weights, to show you this. So let me just pull this back a bit. So I mount it from the front and walk up the back, okay? Ball between the thighs. Oh, by the way, plug does not touch your skin, okay? We go here, working the adductor muscles as well, also your calf muscles. This is an incredible exercise. There's so much going on. So now, in this one, I'm not going to sit back into the chair. I'm going to lean back. And I'm going to slide down that back wall. And then I come up, squeeze the butt and the thighs. Inhale. Exhale on the effort. Pause at the peak of the contraction. Inhale. Exhale up, squeezing. So there's a wonderful study out there. And if anybody actually wants to reach out to me, they can by way of the contact form on my website at Boomerang Beyond Wellness. There's a study out there that talks about this type of work to help us with our balance as we get older. Yes, I could say the word. I'm sorry. I'm not offended by the word, folks. If you prefer seasoned, I'll use that word as well. I am 65, and I'm actually proud of it. Just a few more repetitions. Just make sure you're squeezing, holding, breathing. So Dr. Frank Sabatino will definitely talk about this day and age. It's time to do the breath both in and out through the nose. Last rep. Inhale, exhale, up. Great. Let me just put this stuff to the side for the moment. Then the next block will be, I have to check though, I don't know, will be Romanian deadlifts. I promise you, I did not name this, all right? Romanian deadlifts along with Oh, I know what I missed. I have to do my incline chest press for you. All right. So for the incline chest press, to simulate an incline standing up, you can do this standing as well. You could just lean back, puff up the chest. I'm going to get a little closer here into the camera and slowly push away. Push away. So you got to really work pushing against something super heavy. So now why do I want you to have a strong chest? And by the way, the chest is not going to work by itself because exercise is never reductionist. It's going to work those front deltoids, front shoulders, and the triceps, the back of the upper arm. So maybe we're pushing a heavy grocery cart. You can do it straight out in front if you prefer. By the way, this is called a narrow grip. Now I'm going to change my grip to wide, and it's going to be your call. Your call. Your call if you want to lean back. Your call if you want to stand straight up. And what about pushing that stroller with your beautiful grandchildren? What about encountering, I encountered old buildings all the time where I live, and the doors are super heavy. So I got to bear down into the hips, and I got to have a strong torso to be able to push that all open. A couple more on the incline. Exhale. Just don't allow this to happen. One more with proper form. And release. All right, now the Romanian deadlift. We're going to pair that with military press. However, military press contraindicated typically for medicated for hypertension or not. Vertigo and GERD is really okay. I'm going to think more about rotator cuff and pinched nerve, doing the shoulder, the delta abduction that we just did before. So for the Romanian deadlift, what I need to show you first is a basic deadlift. Then I'll demonstrate the Romanian. So with the basic deadlift, let's give you the stance here, that athletic ready stance like we did for the squat, hips width apart. Now I'm going to face this direction. Unlike a squat, which is a sit back into a chair, here's a deadlift. It's a hinge. It's a hinge from the hip. Yes, we have that posterior pelvic tilt and the squeezing of the glutes and the squeezing of the quads. Back spine, total contraindication for you. Also hyperkyphosis, unless you've been told you can do this movement. I'd go back to a wall squat. I would go back to the sumo squat, even the elevated heel football squat. So we want you to bend down, pick up something. Yeah, it's not just your back picking it up, right? It's your hips. It's your thighs. So we're working the posterior chain here. We have the back. I'm part of the posterior chain for the extensors. We have the back extensors. We have the gluteals. But we also have the anterior side, the quadriceps are working. Now, what if you go, hey, I can't do this, right? Well, then I can't go as low. Well, then, okay, you can go like this. Keep it small. Now, Romanian style, let's do some this way with your feet, hips width apart. I'll turn this way for you. That hip hinge. So you have a couple of variations now on how to do this. And back spine and postural deviations need to do an alternative. One more. Exhale up, hold. Okay, we're doing with this, the military press. I'm going to pull out the balance pad again. The only reason why I'm doing this is that you can see what's going on with the arms overhead, all right? So for the military press, hands here, wide grip, exhale up, inhale down. We want to be able to reach up to the top cabinet in our kitchen and put something that might be substantial with weight up there. You know, like canned veggies and stuff, they kind of weigh. And then we want to be able to bring them back down without them falling on us. And women, I got to tell the females in the house that this is typically a very weak area for us. We get the rotator cuff muscle issues more than men. We get more operations in this area than men. So we got to keep this area strong. But also working here is going to be biceps. triceps, never ever reductionist. Couple more repetitions. Remember shoulder abduction, adduction for hypertension, pinch nerve, rotator cuff. Last one. Okay, hands here. Let me just get this out of the way. Okay, the next block is going to consist of tricep dips, which is a compound movement. However, I'm going to be doing bicep curls, which really is not, all right? And that's what one of the 3 exercises that's an isolation movement. So with the tricep dips, because it's done with the bench, because it's done with body weight, I'm not going to demonstrate anything that's a warm-up specific to a dip. I'm going to give everybody another tricep exercise we can all do, all right? So for the back spine and postural deviations, I want you upright. Even I want to consider medicated for hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. You might want to do this upright. The rest can do it bent over. It's traditionally called a bent over tricep kick back. I'll do it upright. I'm going to stand closer to the camera, hands toward the waist, chest up, shoulders back. Exhale. Exhale. So that's the kick back. What we don't want to do, folks, is this. We don't want to do a forward head projection. It doesn't mean we're getting our arms any further back. Now, if you want to take it bent over, those of you who know that you cannot do this, you stay upright. You can do this instead. Exhale. Now, what you don't want to have happen is this kind of stuff. We go out here and then we drop down to return. No, out here, notice the elbows stay. So they're fulcrum. So working on tricep extension. Listen, folks, every time you push something away from you, and that the chest muscles and front delt are helping, so are the triceps. One more. And release. Every time I vacuum clean, bring the vacuum cleaner out in front. Hello, tricep, chest, front shoulder. Okay, now the next one is bicep curls. We're going to come closer to the camera. Athletic ready stance. We start our hands in this position, but then I'm going to supinate, which means face up, and then pronate, face down. Exhale up. So you engage, the bicep muscle is more active when you're engaging the act of supination. Now I have a little bit of a winged scapula on my left shoulder, which you see is my left, but it's actually my real right shoulder. So I have to literally hold it back in place on this exercise. Notice how slow. A lot of people do this. My camera can't even keep up with me when I do that. So that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you exerting a level of resistance, your own sense of body resistance. I'm going to do a few more repetitions. So when you carry your groceries, folks, you don't want to carry them around like this all locked out. Bend that elbow, hang the bag there. Let that bicep come into play. Curl it up and in and hold it close to the body. You'll be in an isometric contraction with the bicep. You see, all activities of daily living. One more. And release down. Now, this next 2 are going to be for the forearm and wrist. Yes, isolation. However, this is an osteoporotic site. We got to deal with this, okay? So I'm going to sit on an angle here for you, and I'm lifting up onto the balls of my feet. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my balance pad for this to show you that you can lift your feet up higher or put something across your lap, because you're going to want to have your forearms planted on your thighs and your elbows. We don't want this. We don't want you working like this. So we're going to just make a soft fist, and we're going to curl in for wrist flexion. But carpal tunnel, you folks are going to have to inquire if either of these exercises I'm showing is appropriate for you, because we're going into wrist extension, but I'm not all that convinced that the release from wrist flexion, even into neutral, is a great movement for you if you have an active condition with an inactive state of carpal tunnel. So that you do want to seek some advice about. Oftentimes, folks, not everybody has the same symptoms, but have the same diagnosis. So it's very individualized sometimes, especially with exercise. You got to find out what's appropriate to your body when there's chronic issues going on. Exhale. I'm going to go for one more like this. Notice the chest is up high. Notice the elbows are low. And turn the arms over. Here's the wrist extension. The first one was wrist flexion, but notice I am going toward wrist extension when I release, right? You don't have to, but it's great for the wrist. Funnily enough, that I don't know, it's almost a year and a half ago now, I had broken my real left wrist, and really crazy fall. Crazy impact too. And that wrist is, I was doing this work today going, unbelievable. The wrist is stronger than my dominant one. So what does that mean? I got to work the dominant one now more. Just a couple of more repetitions. One. Make sure that elbow stays planted into your thigh and relax it. So that's what we have for the warm-up, the demonstration for everybody. We're going to move into the work now, folks. And we're going to begin with the sumo squats and the lat pull down. So what I'm going to do is grab my 20-pound weights, and just bear with me a moment. So the sumo is wide apart. We're going to superset this twice. So 2 sets each of the sumo squat with the lat pull down. Toes lifted inside the shoes, knees track over the second to third toe, 20 on each thigh. Inhale, exhale, pelvic tuck squeeze. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, all the way up, slight posterior pelvic tilt, squeezing butt and quads. Toes lifted. Now, what does that do? That helps strengthen your shin muscles. That helps you drive up through your gluteals to get them involved. It helps protect your knees. It also helps to strengthen those knees, which can only help your balance. Oh, I so feel this. When I start to get quiet, means I'm working. I'm going to go for 2 more. Last one. Okay, now I'm going to set the weights down. When I set them down, I cross them so that they don't roll and fall off. I'm going to grab my 10-pounders. For the lat pull down, folks, I'm staying up right now. I'm not going down on the balance pad, okay? So here we go. Up, lean back a little, pull. Inhale, exhale, pull. I'm using a wide grip, really getting the scapulae to move. Draw the belly button in. Watch it here with TIA and stroke. Keep the head neutral. Exhale on the effort. Last one. Oh boy, I feel it. And down. I'm going to set it here for the moment. I want to show you something. For the lat pull down with TIA or stroke, and even for hypertension, medicated or not, you can do this exercise called an upright row, or you can do a double arm row. Narrow grip or wide grip, opposite of a chest press. Okay, back to my sumo squats. These thoughts come to my mind, folks, so I share them with you. The toes are lifted, weights on the thighs, chest up, Inhale, sit back. Exhale, up, pelvic tuck, squeeze. Now don't make the feet so wide where you cannot feel the gluteal contract. So you notice I just adjusted my right leg. I brought it a little closer in because I wasn't feeling that right glute too much. I want to activate that, particularly as we get older. It's very important to have strong gluteals. Without them, we can fall. And then we know what can happen with that. They also have tremendous help to the back muscles. Exhale. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Two more. Inhale, exhale, toes up. Last one. Okay, now let me just set these down for a second. And I'm going to grab my 10 pounders for that lat pull down again. It's not straight up overhead. I'm leaning back, right? Exhale on the effort, which is the pull here. Posterior deltoid, back muscles, biceps, front delt, man, triceps. We got everything working here. Wow, one more. Oi. Easy on the down. Now, my next block is my, yes, elevated heel fit ball squats, full out now with the weights, folks, along with the incline chest press. Let me just get my toys set up for a second. Want to make sure, yeah, that'll work. And I'm going to put this here, like that. I'm going to set up my weights for the chest press. That'll be 18. And I'm grabbing 25s and the fit ball. You stay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put the ball between the legs again. Not too far back, otherwise it'll pop out behind me. Okay, coming up on the wedges, 25. Slide down the back wall. Squeeze that ball. Inhale down, exhale up. And this is actually great for the knees. They're not stressed out when they do this. But man, those quadriceps, woo, they talking. Oh, one more. Don't let the weights come out in front of you, folks. I'm going to keep them alongside of you. Okay, now onto the bench. This is where those of you with the hypertension, vertigo, GERD, stroke, or TIA, I want that head lifted, okay? Use that little towel. Here we go. Wide grip, incline chest press. Exhale. Belly button in. Do not let the chest collapse. Focus on a spot on the ceiling and hit that spot. Front deltoid is working with the pectoralis muscles. Tricep, boy. Yeah, man, I feel the bicep even on the way down because the elbows are flexing. Boy. Exhale. Inhale. Control it. Last one. Now bring the knees up, Feet on the bench, weights toward the thighs to slowly roll up safely. Okay, let's do it again. Fit ball squat, 25 pounds, ball. Easy coming up on the wedges. Squeeze that ball. Weights alongside of you, not out in front. So that's what's meant by supersetting. The more toys you use, so to speak, the better for cognitive issues. Your brain. So I'm definitely squeezing the butt, squeezing the thighs, squeezing that ball. Exhale up. Inhale down, last one. Ooh la la. I'm going to drop the ball wherever it goes, it goes. I'm going to put the weights down over here. Pardon my back to you. All right. Get that out of the way. Now, back to incline chest press with 18. Puff up the chest. Hit the ceiling. Focus on a spot on that ceiling and hit it. Pause at the peak of the contraction. That's up here. Woo! I'm going to try it. Legs up. Okay. I'm going to set the weights down over here. I'm going to bring my bench back in. And I'm going to flatten it to prepare for another exercise. Good Lord, my sweat is all over the bench. Okay, you guys go out of the way. Thank you. Okay, the next round is Romanian deadlifts with the military press. So this is how we're going to level up today, okay? So with Romanian deadlifts, I've been using 20 pounds for quite a while. I decided it's time I level up. So just 1 pound in each old-fashioned wrist weight. I don't personally see the need to buy $60 bangle weight bracelets that only allow 1 or 2 pounds. I prefer more weight as far as the availability to adjust my weights. I need really, truly adjustable. Okay, so the first exercise, Romanian deadlift. Let me bring over my weights for that deadlift. Pardon me, the military press as well. That's 15. I'm grabbing the 20s for the Romanian. So now I'm leveling up to 22 pounds altogether. Okay, feet are going to be apart. Okay, weights in front of the thighs, hip hinge. Second set, I'll stand to the side. Inhale, exhale. Let me tell you, just adding those 1 or 2 pounds, I feel it. Now, there are stats out there. There's math that tells you how to level up. I'm telling you right now, if you've got chronic conditions, I want you to go by how you feel. In some cases, it could be just 1/4 pound difference. That's why I like adjustable wrist and ankle weights like that, because I can do 1/4 pound adjustments. I began the pandemic wearing, I can't remember if I was wearing wrist weights with either 1/4 pound in each wrist or a pound. Even let's say it was a pound, I'm not sure. And now at this point in time, when I do my fitness walks on the beach, I now wear a 12.5 pound weighted vest. And that's the maximum that I'm going to go to, because that depends upon your body weight. Dr. Michael Clacker and Harvard Health both say to not exceed 10% of your body weight when you're exercising in a weighted vest. Do not use that weighted vest until you know whether or not your spine can handle it, especially if you have osteoporosis. Don't just put it on, because you can create wedge fractures. One more. Inhale. Exhale up. Ooh la la. And I'm going to do this with the military press. So we've got the wrist weights on. That means I'll be having 16 in each. Bring them up. Wide grip. Here we go. I've already talked about the alternative. I'm going to try it one more. Carefully on the way down. Back to Romanian deadlift. Just the wide-legged deadlift. Let me just change up which hand I hold. I bought 2 different weights. I didn't realize it when I bought these. I don't care. As long as I have 20 of each, I don't care. So here we go. Are you breathing? Are you hydrating? Are you stopping and resting when you personally need to do so? Don't quit. Keep that head up, especially when you're medicated for hypertension or not, and you have vertigo or GERD and need the head up. I also want the head up so that the cervical spine of the neck and the lumbar spine of the low back are in their natural lordotic curve. One more. I'm going to set these down. Bear with me a moment. And back to military press. JJ, this would be a great workout for Dawn. If she has weights. Two more. Okay, let me set these down. Actually, you know what? I can leave these here. Yeah, I just realized that. Okay, so now, the next exercise, folks, are those tricep dips that I mentioned. So I need to show you a couple of variations so some of you can decide how you want to do this, all right? So I'm going to come to the floor. All right, I just want you to see the feet, the hands, elbows are bent. Let me come a little closer this way. So my elbows are bent. Now, carpal tunnel, forget this, right? We already discussed this. You're going to do the kickback. Okay. Puff up the chest, shoulders are back, straighten the elbow, bend the elbow. But notice how uplifted the chest is. I don't collapse back toward the arms. So this is one way you can do a tricep dip, okay? Now, with the bench, there's another modified way you can do it. Bear with me. Okay, so with the bench, you sit close to the edge. Again, not for carpal tunnel. So the hands are holding onto the bench, shoulder width apart. Roll your shoulders back. You pull your butt away from the bench, but really close to you keep your butt and your torso close to the bench. So that's one way, or full out. Now, you can also do this if you have a second bench with your feet up on that second bench. I'm not just saying, just saying. Belly button is in. One more. Easy, coming back onto the bench. Now, I'm going to put on my wrist weights again because I'm going to use 16 pounds for my bicep curls. I hope you are all having fun out there. I can't see anybody in the chat, but I do hope you're having fun. It's so important to have fun with exercise. Otherwise, what a drag. So, supination, pronation. I'm going to step in closer. You know what the feet have to do. Are you breathing? Exhale on the curl. E, exhale, effort. Last one. Tricep dips again. No weight though around my wrist. Whatever variation you want to do, go for it. Two more. Woo. Okay, let me put the weights back on. It's a sweaty one tonight, my friends. Okay, here we go. My glasses are sliding off. Last one. Okay, now we're on our last block. The wrist flexion and then the wrist extension. So I'm going to use, let me turn my bench out a little. Okay. And let me grab the balance pad. Put it about here. And I'm going to use 8s on the wrist extension and 12s for the wrist flexion. Remember, carpal tunnel. I'm not sure about either one of these for you. Mariquita, are you still here?
I'm here.
Great. I wasn't sure if I lost anybody. The elbows are pressing down into the thighs. One more. And now I grab my 8s for the wrist extension. Osteoporotic sites. Very important exercises. You go to fall. Oftentimes, as this is how I broke the wrist, was extending the arm out in front. But my break was due to a whole nother circumstance. Because thank God I do not have osteoporosis again. Oh, I can't even lift it anymore. All right, back to wrist flexion. So oftentimes the forearms are very helpful during any exercise movements with the biceps. So you want them strong. They help carry stuff. Whew. One more. And last exercise with weights. Then we'll do a much deserved cool down. One more. Oh gosh. Wow. Okay. So let me put these away. And then we'll do some stretches for you. That's it. Here we go. Mariquita, if you have any questions that I can answer during the stretch section, feel free if there's anything. If I can't answer it when I'm doing the stretches, I'll let you know.
Okay, that sounds good. I do have a comment here from Krista in Cleveland, Ohio. She's watching to learn more exercises that she might be able to incorporate in her current practice. I'm working with a physical therapist for my scoliosis. A mirror helps.
Okay, so what I would like her to do, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I have a lot of people doing this. I want her, after this video gets posted, I want her to show it to her physical therapist and let her physical therapist help her decide what are the appropriate exercises for her. All right? That's the best way to handle it. Instead of trying to figure it out on your own, I don't know your issues. I don't know, you're not a client. I would delve much deeper. So I'm always going to tell people, show the video to the physical therapist. They can scan through. She can scan through quickly. And you can do it that way so it's safe for her. All right, so now we're going to come into the stretching. And meet T, everybody. That is T for terrific. So what we're going to do is I want to do some stretches here. The first one, I'm going to ask you to interlock the fingers like this. Now, if you're medicated or not for hypertension, and you've been told not to squeeze the fingers, just place one hand on the other. Carpal tunnel. When you bring your arms up, you bring them up like this, not like this, not like that. All right. So once you know, he's right there. Okay, so here we go. Interlock, nice athletic ready stance, arms up, nice shoulder girdle rotation, and breathe. Hold your stretches for a minimum on your own for 30 seconds. Long neck. I'm not doing this on purpose. Not good for pinch nerve nor rotator cuff. Maybe check in with the neck. How's it doing? Pretty good. Good. And slowly lower. Now, I want you to take your left arm. I'm going to step over the cat. Here we go. Left arm across, right elbow above the left as if it's going toward that left shoulder. You pull across without twisting, and you depress the shoulder back and down. So that's going to get tricep, some of the tricep, deltoid, and rotator cuff. Hand to shoulder, elbow points down. Take the arm up. And behind the head, tricep stretch. Now, I'm going to stand. I have my feet a little bit wider than my hips, so you can see there. And I'm going to do a lateral flexion. So now I'm stretching the muscles between the ribs, the intercostals, responsible for 25% of our respiratory cycle. Also stretching the internal and external oblique muscles at the waist, responsible for turning and twisting the torso. Inhale, push down into the left heel, come back up to center, exhale, lower. I'm going to return back here Just let me go behind the cat here. He knows just right where to park himself to be right in the action. So we're going to come up here. It's a great, great cat, folks. What a great cat. Now I'm going to bring my feet hips width. Notice I'm not collapsing my chest toward the floor, right? I don't want to collapse the left side organs. Chest, sternum, the breastbone is up toward the ceiling. Inhale, push down into the right heel, come up to center, exhale, lower. I can tell you right now that that stretch is very good for scoliosis, the way that we just did it, okay? You don't want to push the hip out, though, with scoliosis. Okay, my next one is, I want to do this. Push the walls away. Now, the arms are not behind me, not yet, okay? So right palm pushes right wall, left palm pushes left wall. But carpal tunnel is not good for you. So what you're going to do is straighten those wrists and reach out through the middle fingers for carpal tunnel. The rest of us like this, full length of the arm, forearms, great stretch. Inhale, thumbs down. Exhale, now you interlock, puff up the chest. So we're stretching out pectorals, front delt. We're getting the biceps here. But what you don't want to do is this, folks. Thinking, oh, I'm getting my arms further back. No, you're not. You're just doing a forward head projection. The cervical spine does not appreciate that. Backs of the hands touch each other. Notice how much lower wrists are to shoulders. Crisscross the wrists. Look at the fingertips. Not drop the head. Just look at the fingertips. And then opposite on top. Belly button in. No hunched shoulders. Now, let's do a couple of stretches for the legs, but let me pull this back a little bit. Okay, so first stretch is going to be for the quadricep. Now I'm going to grab the ankle, holding on. What if you can't reach? You can take maybe a yoga strap, a belt, a towel around the ankle and pull the foot up behind you. What we're not doing is bringing that knee forward. And maybe if you don't have vestibular challenges, you can hold on with both hands, chest up, and setting it down. I'm going to take it over here because Mr. Man is over there. That's okay. I respect you. Yes, I do. He's gorgeous. He has gold eyes. Belly button in. I found him on an anthill. And he's the king of the domain. It's a small domain, but it's his. And release it. Now, dude, seriously. Okay, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to pull you back a little bit. T, thank you, love. Okay, so now, those of you with back spine issues and particularly hyperkyphosis, you might want to do this sitting in a chair with the leg out in front. So I'm going to bring my right, well, the outside leg out in front. It's straight, but I'm going to pull that hip back, drawing the opposite hip forward. Keep the chin up. Woo-hoo. Big stretch, the back of that leg and thigh, big. It's all the way up into my glute and low back. It's all appropriate. And breathe, head is up. Don't want to drop it. And then I'm going to do the other side. We have one more stretch and then any other questions? Squaring off the hips by sliding this inside hip back, outside hip forward. Last stretch. Let's do something to offset all that forward flexion, okay? So we bring the feet wider than the hips, hands on the sacrum, the basically the upside down triangular shaped bone at the base of the spine. However, what is this? Wrist extension, not good for carpal tunnel. You bring your hands down lower so that the wrist doesn't bend. Roll shoulders back. Now, some of you, this might be your range of motion. So what I'm thinking here is I'm sliding my sacrum. Does it slide? No, but that's my image. Sliding it toward the heels and hold right here. Those of you medicated or not for hypertension, you have vertigo or GERD, transient ischemic attack, or stroke. I need that head neutral. Do not drop it back, please. I want to make sure I don't wind up hitting that. Back extension, back bend. Only go to what you can handle, please, please. Head drops last. You can straighten your knees and lifting up on the kneecaps to isometrically engage the quads. You inhale to lift, exhale, shoulder roll, and that's what we got for you tonight on We Did It Health. Thank you all so much. Keith, if you have any more questions and you have the time for me to answer them, I'm happy to stay for you.
Well, thanks. That was amazing. I feel very, very stretched. Like I haven't been in years. So that's wonderful. Yeah.
Good.
JJ asked Angela. I know. I'm happy. JJ said, Angela, where does this energy come from?
It comes from the food.
That's funny. No, but so true. And so let's see. Chris was watching us also. I know that Chris is interested in working out. So.
Thank you. Thank you so
much.
So,
and then someone else is saying that love this. It was worth the time spent. There's exercises for everyone. Don't miss finding out what's appropriate so you don't end up injured. Amen to that.
Amen. Facebook user heard me. Thank you so much. Tell your friends.
Right.
Your friends.
Yeah. You know what? Let me ask you one question. Please. So this is going to keep us from being hunched over, when we are.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And all of this is about get us up. Get us up. If you're sitting all day long at a computer, and I know you do a lot of that, right?
I know.
Because of your work, right? So it's really super important. But also we did the lat pull down, right? This one. You could also choose to do the pulley row, like I call it a pulley row, but it's a back row like this. Watch my back. Watch the scapulae, the shoulder blades. Because that's really what it's about, right? It's about that right there, achieving that. You can do it. I'm going to just take very light weights to show you. You can bend over, narrow grip, back row, wide grip, back row, heavier weight, one arm row. All of that's going to teach that to get back there, to keep this upright. But so will the stretching. So will the stretching, because what happens to the back muscles with the hunching is because all of this is tight. This is all tight. So we need to strengthen that, stretch this. So this simple stretch, this should be like in your exercise vocabulary now, all day long while you're, when you're working online, when you're interviewing people. So what? Stretch, why not? That's how you take care of yourself with your profession. Does that help?
Well, it does. And a lot of people, we're all sitting, and I know Dr. Akil, I know you're a fan of Dr. Akil, and I know he talks about, I love him too. He talks about, if you think you're going to the gym and you think, well, now the workout's over for the day. It's not over for the day. He says, you've got to keep moving all day.
Yeah,
so.
He's right. You see, now that's where walking the dog is great. That's where walking in I don't know, what do you call it? Window shopping. That's all movement. That's great. But people think that that's exercise. It's different when you have to apply effort. So you saw me sweating here, right? That's effort. I'm not saying everybody's going to sweat. The cat is messing with my shoelaces. So I'm because of working with so many people with chronic issues, I am very well aware of this is a process to get stronger. Please forget about quick fix stuff. It's not about that. We took decades to become a certain way, and we need some time to do it the other way. You know who was pushing me? was the allopathic community. And I was like, give me time, because they were like, medication, medication.
Oh,
And I was just like, give me time. And so when that last scan had come in, and now it's 2 years ago, that it was osteopenia, I was just like, see, patience. 3 years is no joke. It's no
right.
joke. But you got to do what you got to do, and it's possible. It's possible. Just make sure you surround yourself with people who are inspiring you rather than saying you can't do that. So why bother? Pop the pill.
Oh,
Who's the,
no.
I know. So it's about, maybe it's not your agenda, that's somebody else's, right? And you just do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Do it respectfully. Remember that not everybody is in the same place with any of this, with the diet, with the lifestyle, particularly in our way of living, right? So just, understand that this can be really foreign to other people who just don't get it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and if you just keep doing what you got to do to keep your eye on the tiger for yourself, sometimes the others go, I might try that now. Sometimes they don't. But if they don't, and they don't with respect for you, then you do it what you got to do. That's great. If they don't have respect for you, you need to rethink some stuff.
All right. Those are great words to live by. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
this. And, take control of your life, take control of your health, and we're not dependent on someone else.
That's the thing, I'm 65, and the older I get, the more I hear about people talking about, well, I need to move to be near my children so they can take care of me when I get sick. I don't have kids. I made a decision to not have them. All right. And it was partly that reason why I decided I'm not having kids to take care of me. That means I'm guaranteed to get sick. I'm guaranteed to fall apart. But if I don't have somebody to fall back on, whoa, now who do I turn to? I got to turn to me. I live alone. I got T. And I don't have people that I can afford to hire and pay and do this for me and that for me. No, I got to do everything myself. Therefore, I better be strong to handle what life throws my way. And that's it. I don't live in Iraq. I don't have bombs dropping on me. I don't need to play victim, but I need to be smart. And that's why I have to tell people I can't do it then, because I have to work out then. Because if you want me to help you, I gotta take care of me.
Wow. I love that. That's wonderful. No, I
And
mean, you're very inspiring.
I have one final message. Thank you. Just
Okay.
one message, not final, but a message to my beautiful vegan friends and my incredible, heroic animal activist friends. Take care of yourselves. I just ask you to pay attention to your health. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Well, I resonate with all that. I mean, people would tell me, "Oh, you better have kids to take care of you," and that's not a reason for me. And that wasn't. I don't have kids, and that's not a reason, right? And what you're saying, we've got to take care of ourselves. The more we take care of ourselves, the more we can help the animals, the planet, every living being, right? We got to be strong for that.
That's right. And you know what? I'm thinking about what JJ had mentioned about my energy. It just comes from having the courage and the conviction to live your life in alignment with your own personal ethics. That's it. And that's where I get energy. And you know what? There are days, JJ, that I'm like, I'm not doing nothing because I'm tired. I'm just going to do some basic whatever. That's it. And it's just acknowledging when I'm human. But I think energy comes from the earth. I think it comes from alignment with others, alignment with purpose, our food, how we express ourselves physically, our place in time, in space, in motion. That's it. And that's what we got to give. You can't not take care of yourself to fulfill all of those obligations.
Amen. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight, y'all. Like I'm already all wired. Anyway, you're full of energy. I've got it.
Meditate so that you can
Meditate. Yeah.
get back to a restorative state. Because this was not my first time doing this workout today, right? So by the now I'm like, I felt all of that, and that's okay because that's actually going to help me. And now have some water or whatever, and I'll be like, yeah, man, just it's chill time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm ready to meditate. Amen to that. So this is wonderful, wonderful wisdom, and this is always it's always a pleasure to have you on here, Angela. And
Thank you so much.
so, where can everybody get a hold of you?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, first off, if you have any questions or comments ever about any of the workouts, just feel free to contact me by way of the contact form on my website. And that's boomerandbeyondwellness.com. That's boomerandbeyondwellness.com. Thank you for that. But also, I really am inviting people to go to my YouTube channel because I'm posting there new content, different routines, etc., different approaches to exercises with weights, without weights, with the bands and all of that. And please, I'm asking for support with subscribers. I'm almost at 150. I would love to get over the top there with it. And subscribing is for free, and to maybe share that information, to maybe give it a kind comment or a thumbs up, anything would just be really welcome. But if you know any folks who are dealing with chronic issues and are scared to death of exercise, because I see it, I hear it, I observe it, and let them know there is a channel on YouTube for them, because every time I teach, I'm going to teach that whole one time through without anything, without any of the resistance work, the actual resistance accessories, because we have to make this accessible to others who don't have the gift of their full body, right? And then you're going to see chair exercises on my channel. You're going to see chair yoga. The whole idea to me, I think, I'm going to go out on a limb with this one, all right? But I think that exercise, I think my fitness community has gotten too elitist. And because now with after the pandemic, let's pandemicize prices left and right with gyms that are exorbitantly over the top. They all think they're one big spa, and it's like, you're a gym. How about making it affordable to people to use them? My local gym here is a mom and pop, and they have a senior discount. They have chair classes. This is what we want. We want to invite everybody in to fitness. This is not so that the elite can get stronger. This is so everybody can be in touch with their power, their control, their body. And if you're sitting in a chair all day long, turn that chair into a device of strength. There's ways of doing it. It's about reframing the mind around fitness, which is why I still work out at home, which is why I still present the work this way, because I want it doable for absolutely everybody. So those are the ways you could contact me, and certainly take advantage of my material that's on YouTube. Please subscribe.
What's the name of your channel? Yeah, what's the channel name?
Over and Beyond Wellness, everything, Facebook, Instagram, it's all, thank goodness I got it, right? That I was able to obtain all of that for everything. Boomer and Beyond Wellness.
Great. Yes. Subscribe to us too, please.
Subscribe to Vegan Empowerment Coach. Go to Marikita. Subscribe to JJ. Subscribe to folks. This is how you
Subscribe.
learn about all these different approaches to this amazing lifestyle that we live. And it's all founded in ahimsa. It's the one thing that connects us all. You're in it for the climate, you're in it for the animals, you're in it for the health. It's all founded in ahimsa, nonviolence, all the way around. We have a light carbon footprint, and I'm proud of it.
Amen. I am too. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everyone, for watching. JJ, Chris, and then I think Stephanie was here. Cambria. I'm not sure who else, but yeah, it's been
Facebook
wonderful. And
user.
please, yeah, Facebook user, everyone, reach out and subscribe. Reach out to Angela and reach out to us. We're here to help you all. So it's
Don't
been
forget,
beautiful.
folks, if you're already vegan, go to wedidit.health and take their survey. Write out the survey for them. It would be really helpful. For
Right.
free.
We've got a lot of right. And we have our live stream every Saturday at noon. This coming one is Shelly B. Shakti. She's a female bodybuilder.
That's right.
The fifth in the world, I think, is what's
She's
vegan fifth in the
phenomenal.
world. Right. Yeah. So that's going to be very exciting. So we're keeping this thing going. Okay.
And Marikita is the host amongst all of these presentations, which is beautiful.
Many of them, yes. I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. Thank you so much. And let's do our Namaste Vegan, everyone.
Namaste, vegan. Thank you all so much. Marikita.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.